Mommy and daughter date.
Just wanna see how beautiful.
You can see Eric Robinson in a yellow jumpsuit over a video phone call from DeSoto County Jail, showing no emotion today. No family or friends were seen at court as the judge read the charges Robinson is facing: 2 counts of first-degree murder as well as 8 other charges.
This is Eric Robinson, a 45-year-old man from Arcadia, Florida, sitting in a yellow jail jumpsuit and facing 2 counts of first-degree murder for killing the mother of his own child and a 77-year-old grandmother who did nothing but try to call for help. And the more you learn about what he did that morning and everything that was supposed to stop him from doing it, the harder it gets to look away from this story. So before we get into what happened on the morning of April 17th, 2026, we need to go back a little further because the people involved in this story deserve more than just a headline. And the only way to really feel the weight of what Robinson did is to understand exactly who he took from the world that day. Tanika Raquel Summers was born on March 12, 1988, which made her 28 years old when she was killed. She grew up in the Arcadia and Fort Myers area of Southwest Florida, in DeSoto County, and she never really left because her people were there. She was a licensed massage therapist who had built up a real following at Hello Beautiful Salon in Arcadia, not because anybody put her on or gave her a shortcut, but because her clients kept sending their friends to her. And those friends kept coming back.
Her co-workers remember her as a positive person who would light up a room.
She was a hard-working lady, beautiful inside and out.
Tanika Summers won the heart of her clients as a massage therapist.
Every single one of her clients is what helped her build up her clientele here. They referred people. She was a very good person.
On top of her work at the salon, she also held a job at Sunseeker Resort and ran her own business on the side called Tanika Self-Care Luxury Spa. So she was grinding on multiple fronts at the same time and making it all work. And all of that work, every single shift and side job had one goal behind it. It was to get her daughter into a stable situation and make sure she had options in life that Tanika herself may not have always had.
She was saving up for a home through Habitat for Humanity.
Working in her day off and working in Habitat. She working the 7 days a week to be ready to get her house.
She had been working with Arcadia DeSoto County Habitat for Humanity toward a home at 1123 East Maple Street in Arcadia. She had even helped lay sod in the yard the day before she was killed, which means the last real project she worked on was the yard of the house she was about to call home. She was also saving money to send her daughter Ariana to nursing school. Everyone who knew Tanika said the same things about her. Her cousin Glenn Gordon, who spoke at her memorial, remembered her like this.
Tanika was someone that I never in her whole life seen her get mad. She was someone that if somebody in the crowd was upset, she's gonna make you laugh, she's gonna bring the joy out of you. She was a giver. She seen the best in everybody. She never seen the bad. And unfortunately to this event, she'll be dearly missed, dearly missed.
That was Tanika, and it matters because the man who walked into her life and ended it on a Friday morning was not someone who found her randomly. He was someone she had been in a relationship with, whom she had a daughter with, and had already been afraid of long enough to go to court and get a legal order to keep him away from her. Now, the second person who lost her life that morning was Barbara Jean Bates, born July 26, 1948, in Wheeling, West Virginia. She was 77 years old and a resident of the Jacaranda Trail Apartments, the same complex where Tanika lived. Barbara had moved around a lot over the years, spending time in Solon, Ohio, and Cartersville, Georgia, before settling in Arcadia. And by all accounts, she was a woman who minded her business but was completely devoted to her family. Her granddaughter, Madeline Brown, described her as my best friend and her last living grandparent, and said she was healthier than most women her age and had many good years still ahead of her. The people who loved her remembered her as someone who was funny and direct and full of life, someone who enjoyed concerts and gardening and watching the stars and just being around family.
As for Barbara Bates, her granddaughter said she was a friendly soul and a guiding light.
Barbara Bates had absolutely nothing to do with whatever was happening between Tanika and Eric Robinson. She was a neighbor who looked out her window at the wrong moment, saw something she knew was wrong, and picked up the phone to do something about it. That one decision, made out of basic human decency, is what got her killed. Now, let's talk about the man at the center of all of this. Eric Devon Robinson was born on February 8, 1981, making him 45 years old at the time of the murders. He grew up in Arcadia and had lived there his whole life, and he was not somebody who came into this situation with a clean record. Back in August of 2014, Robinson was arrested on charges that included robbery with a firearm, grand theft, and committing a felony while wearing a mask, and he was convicted and sent to prison on those charges. That conviction is important because under Florida law, once you have been convicted of a violent felony, you are not allowed to own or carry a gun ever again. Robinson knew that. Robinson and Tanika had been in a relationship at some point in the years before all of this, and together they have a daughter, Ariana, who was around 20 years old at the time of the murders and was attending college. Whatever that relationship looked like in the beginning, by August of 2025, it had gotten to a place where Tanika went to DeSoto County Court and filed for an injunction for protection against domestic violence against Robinson, and she got it.
That court order told Robinson he was not allowed to come near her home or her workplace, and it was signed and filed and legally in place. She has done everything the system asks you to do when you are afraid of someone, and none of it was enough to stop what was coming. At around 9:13 in the morning on April 17, 2026, the Arcadia Police Department and the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office started getting multiple calls at the same time about a shooting at the Jacaranda Trail Apartments on Hargrave Street. But by the time those calls were coming in, the situation had already been going on inside those apartments for a while. Here is what the Arcadia Police Department arrest report says happened. Robinson showed up at Tanika's apartment and got inside, and when he found her there, he pulled out a knife and held it to her. And this was not something that stayed hidden, because Tanika's daughter, Ariana, came home from work and walked directly into the middle of it, finding her own mother being held at knife point by her own father.
Wink News continues coverage tonight on the double that happened in Arcadia Friday night. Police say Eric Robinson held Tanika Summers at knife point in an apartment in front of their daughter. That was before they say she was shot and killed in the parking lot. Police say Barbara Bates, the other victim in the crime, called 911 after witnessing the shooting. Robinson noticed her calling for help and killed Bates through her bedroom window, according to police. Summers died just days before seeing her hard work pay off. Habitat for Humanity tells Wink News Summers was just days away from moving into her new home before she was killed.
Ariana grabbed her gun to try to help her mother, and Robinson took it from her by force. According to the arrest report, he then told Ariana to leave, and he made her a promise that he would not hurt Tanika. He also warned her that if she told anyone what was happening, he would kill her mother and then kill himself. So Ariana left, and Robinson walked Tanika outside into the parking lot, where 3 of their neighbors were present and could see everything that was happening. Those 3 witnesses, whose names have not been made public, watched as Robinson pointed the gun at Tanika and she walked backward with her hands raised, telling him to stop, begging him not to shoot her. While she was asking for her life in front of multiple people in a parking lot in broad daylight, he shot her anyway. The 3 witnesses ran and hid in a maintenance closet nearby, and while they were in there trying to stay safe, they heard more gunfire coming from somewhere else in the complex.
The report says 3 people saw this happen and ran to hide in a maintenance closet. They say they saw Summers walking backwards with her hands up, pleading for Robinson to stop before he shot her. The report says Barbara Bates, the second victim, was shot and killed on the phone with 911. She was a grandmother.
That second round of gunfire was not random. From her apartment window in a building nearby within the same complex, Barbara Bates had seen what Robinson did to Tanika in the parking lot, and she immediately picked up her phone and called 911.
Because DeSoto County's emergency line was being flooded with calls about the same incident at the same time, her call was routed to the Hardy County Sheriff's Office through a standard overflow system that Florida counties use when one dispatch center gets overwhelmed. She got through to a dispatcher and started telling them what she saw. She said, "Some guy here in the parking lot over here at the Jacaranda Apartments just shot his girlfriend." And then almost immediately, the dispatcher heard her say, "Oh my God, he's shooting at me!" And then the sound of gunshots, and then nothing. Robinson had fired through Barbara Bates' bedroom window while she was still on the phone, and he hit her twice. The rest of that 911 call, which lasted around 5 minutes total, is just the sound of her television in the background, while the dispatcher asks 4 separate times for her address and 4 separate times whether she is still on the line, not knowing whether to send help to her apartment or not. At one point saying something close to, "I'm hoping they would check on her, but I have no idea." Barbara Bates had only spoken for about 18 seconds of that call before the shots came through her window, and she never got to give them her address, so nobody knew exactly where she was. Now, law enforcement arrived on the scene within 1 minute of being dispatched, and because the 3 witnesses who had hidden in the maintenance closet were able to describe Robinson to police, officers found him in the area quickly. He was taken into custody within about 4 minutes of the first call going out, and he did not resist or run. He just let them arrest him. When officers checked Tanika's apartment, they found her body and confirmed she was dead. But they cleared the apartment and at that point believed there was only 1 victim. What they did not know yet was that Barbara Bates was in her bedroom about 60 meters away with 2 bullets in her and a phone still in her hand. And because she had never told the dispatcher where she was, nobody had thought to check her building.
At around 1:09 in the afternoon, almost 4 hours after the shooting, Barbara Bates' granddaughter, Madeline Brown, came to the apartment to check on her and found her in the bedroom. Madeline called 911, and that was the moment police realized they were not dealing with 1 homicide that morning. They were dealing with 2. The DeSoto County Sheriff's Office Crime Scene and Evidence Division came in to work both locations, alongside the Arcadia Police Department, who were leading the case since the first killing had happened inside city limits. The evidence they were working with was not hard to piece together. The gun Robinson used to kill both women was the same gun he had wrestled away from Ariana inside the apartment. And because of his felony conviction from 2014, he was not legally allowed to touch any firearm under Florida law, let alone use one to shoot 2 people. On top of the gun itself, investigators had 3 eyewitnesses who had personally watched Robinson chase Tanika through the parking lot and shoot her while she had her hands up. They had Ariana, who gave a full account of the confrontation inside the apartment, the knife, Robinson taking her gun, and the threats he made before telling her to leave. And then they had the 911 audio, which the Hardy County Sheriff's Office released to the public around April 24th, about a week after the murders, and which captured Barbara Bates in real time reporting what she saw before Robinson turned the gun on her. Reporters who heard the full recording said parts of it were too graphic to broadcast. Prosecutors also pointed to the domestic violence injunction that Tanika had filed and received against Robinson back in August of 2025, which explicitly told him to stay away from her home and her workplace. By showing up at her apartment that morning, he had already broken the law before he ever picked up the knife, and that violation became one of the charges stacked against him. During questioning, Robinson made statements that the arrest report described as irrational and confused, including a claim that he had spoken on the phone with President Trump about the war in Palestine. When detectives told him he would be facing murder charges, he asked them how many counts, and then suggested there might be more victims they did not know about yet. Whether that was him trying to seem unpredictable or something else entirely, it gave prosecutors even more reason to treat this as something that was thought out in advance, rather than something that just happened in a moment of anger.
Robinson was booked into DeSoto County Jail and hit with 10 separate felony charges, and the list is long. 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder, 1 for Tanika and 1 for Barbara Bates' window, 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, shooting into a dwelling, which covers what he did when he fired through Barbara Bates' bedroom window, violation of the domestic violence injunction, kidnapping and false imprisonment for holding Tanika at knife point, obstruction of justice, and a robbery charge connected to forcibly taking Ariana's gun from her.
Well, it's almost a week since Arcadia police say a man and these 2 women. Tanika Summers, outside of her apartment complex, then the other woman, Barbara Bates, as she was just calling 911 for help. Tonight, that accused killer is in court for the first time. Hello, and thank you so much for counting on Gulf Coast News here. I'm Elise Chingari.
And I'm Channing Frampton. New at 6, Gulf Coast News reporter Isaiah Soto is at the DeSoto County Courthouse where those charges have just been filed.
Today, Eric Robinson faced the judge for the first time through a video phone call from DeSoto County Jail. His public defender requested he stay in custody until trial. You can see Eric Robinson in a yellow jumpsuit over a video phone call from DeSoto County Jail, showing no emotion today. No family or friends were seen at court as the judge read the charges Robinson is facing: 2 counts of first-degree murder, as well as 8 other charges. Robinson's public defender asked that he be held in jail until trial. He's accused of shooting Tanika Summers last Friday at the Jacaranda Trail Apartments. Reports say Summers' daughter came home from work to find her mom being held knife point by Robinson, and she grabbed a gun. Robinson disarmed her and used that gun to shoot Summers. He's also accused of another woman at the apartment complex named Barbara Bates, who was dialing 911 at the time. Last night, friends and family held a memorial for Tanika Summers at the Habitat for Humanity home she was set to live into with her daughter.
Robinson's first court appearance was through a video call from inside DeSoto County Jail, and he came in with no expression. His public defender asked that he be kept in custody until the trial. The judge agreed, and he was ordered held without bond. His arraignment is set for June 1st, 2026, at which point he will formally tell the court how he is going to plead. Because these are first-degree murder charges with multiple aggravating factors, including the prior injunction violation and the fact that he killed 2 people, the death penalty is technically on the table under Florida law, though the state attorney's office has not made any public announcement about whether they are pursuing it. Now, while the legal process is working its way forward, the people in Arcadia were already trying to process the loss and take care of the ones who were left behind.
Right now, people are remembering a mother gunned down in front of her daughter. Police say the father of Tanika Summers' daughter shot her as she pleaded for her life outside an apartment complex in Arcadia. The suspect, Eric Robinson, is also accused of shooting a grandmother, Barbara Bates, who witnessed the murder and was calling 911. Gulf Coast News reporter Isaiah Soto is live in Arcadia right now at the candlelight vigil about to begin.
Yes, Megan, the memorial for Tanika Summers just started a few moments ago. I'm going to step out the way so you can look at this beautiful tribute that her friends and family have organized for her. There's more than 200 people here celebrating her life. We heard people talking about her kind spirit, people smiling and laughing as they remembered her. Other people were seen with sunglasses and hugging each other. You can see how much people loved and appreciated Summers, but you can also feel the grief the family's going through. This is also the home where she and her daughter plan to move soon. And we just got word from a family member. We spoke to her cousin who remembers her as Nika. Tanika Summers worked at Hello Beautiful Salon in Arcadia. I spoke with staff earlier this week who said she was a hardworking mother who was always smiling. Police say after Eric Robinson killed her, he and grandmother in her Jacaranda Trail apartment, the same complex where Tanika died. Crime scene tape still lingers from the tragic Friday morning. A memorial sits in honor of Tanika Summers. As for Barbara Bates, her granddaughter said she was a friendly soul and a guiding light. This is going to be a celebration of life. People are expected to speak and sing and remember Miss Summers' life. As for Eric Robinson, he's awaiting a hearing tomorrow. Reporting live in Arcadia, Isaiah Soto, Gulf Coast News.
On April 22nd, more than 200 people showed up to a candlelight vigil held at the Habitat for Humanity home on East Maple Street, the same house Tanika had been working toward for years and had been just days away from moving into.
You ain't gonna dim her light. Her light will always be here. She will always shine bright. She had so many people that truly loved her, and she would never be forgotten. She will live on through her siblings.
That was Tanika's sister, Letitia, and what she said hits differently when you know what Habitat for Humanity did next. Because even though Tanika never got to complete the purchase of that home, Habitat for Humanity decided they would transfer it to her daughter Ariana so that she could move into the house her mother bled for and make that dream real for herself.
As for Summer's daughter, Habitat for Humanity tells us that Summer never got the chance to purchase the home, but they will provide her daughter the chance to fulfill her mother's dream of becoming a homeowner.
I know she gonna be happy to see her daughter enjoy her house because that's what she wanted. Have a house for her daughter and her own.
A GoFundMe was also set up for Ariana by one of Tanika's clients, Ashley Kuhn, to help cover living expenses, school costs, and whatever else she would need going forward, and the community came through on it. Ariana will at least have the house her mother spent her last years working to earn. For Barbara Bates, a visitation was held on April 23rd at the chapel of Ponger Case Grady Funeral Home in Arcadia. Her family kept their grieving mostly private, but her niece Alonda Lester spoke about the loss and said something that is worth sitting with. She said, "This is a terrible loss for our family. We are in shock and heartbroken. We are praying for the other family that lost a loved one in this horrific violence. Even in the worst moment of their lives, they were thinking about Tanika's people too. This whole case is one of those stories that makes you look at the system sideways, because Tanika Summers did everything she was supposed to do. She went to court, she got the protective order, she filed the paperwork, and she kept showing up to work and building her life. A woman who was afraid enough to go through all of that should have been safe. Robinson's case sits alongside a pattern that shows up in Florida and across the country, where protective orders did not stop someone who had already made up their mind. And it raises real questions about what it actually takes to keep someone protected when a piece of paper is the only thing standing between them and a person who does not care about the rules. And Barbara Bates, who had nothing to do with any of it, paid for trying to help. Robinson is being held without bond in DeSoto County Jail. His arraignment is June 1st, and his trial date has not been set.
You ain't gonna dim her light. Her light will always be here. She will always shine bright.
New at 11, we're hearing from friends and family of one of the two women killed in a double murder at an Arcadia apartment complex. Tonight, there was a vigil for the mother, Tanika Summers. She was shot and killed along with the grandmother, Barbara Bates, who witnessed the first murder and called 911. Police say Eric Robinson killed Summers and Bates at the Jacaranda Trail Apartments last Friday. Gulf Coast News reporter Kyle Schmidt was at the vigil tonight as family and friends honored their loved one.
The lot is empty right now, but just hours ago, it was filled with heavy hearts, remembering a woman everyone said was filled with love.
Hallelujah, God, where she's in the presence of Jesus Christ Almighty.
In prayer and in song, Tanika Summers is remembered.
Just to know her is to love her.
Inspiration to all who came in contact with her.
She was the epitome of love.
A vigil in front of the home Summers was working to move into. Now is the spot her life was celebrated.
I tried to put my emotions aside because my goddaughter, which is her daughter, was there. And just for her to come and comfort me, that's something that Nika would do.
Habitat for Humanity said they are providing Tanika's daughter the opportunity to fulfill her mom's dream of being a homeowner with this house.
That was her life. She wanted to be in this home for her daughter. Nothing else in this world mattered but her daughter.
I truly believe that she did all this work and left this legacy for her daughter. You know, she got another home up there in heaven. And this is her daughter's physical home.
The vigil lasted about 2 hours in front of the home. Letitia Summers, Tanika's sister, had a message for the suspected killer, Eric Robinson.
You ain't gonna dim her light. Her light will always be here. She will always shine bright. She has so many people that truly loved her.
A visitation at a funeral home for the other victim in this double homicide, Barbara Bates, will be held tomorrow. In Arcadia, Kyle Schmidt, Gulf Coast News.
The house on East Maple Street, the one Tanika helped lay sod in the yard of the day before she was killed, is waiting for her daughter. Given the amount of people, especially women, who have lost their lives even after applying for a restraining order, do you think it is still a worthy safety measure at this point? Let me know in the comments section. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.